All right, family. All right, and all right. A welcome back and a welcome in to the podcast. Us here of a different view who believe in, who love after, who seek for, hunger and thirst for that which is a different view. Family, welcome in. Last time we were talking, and we will shout this out here on Spotify as well. We're going to put this one on the Spotify deal. The last couple here have just been for TikTok, a little bit of notoriety. We kind of played around with TikTok here. We got some views. We got some wild stuff here. We had saw a little uptick in the viewing, especially it was a lot actually. It was like 37,000 views. On which is cool, right? And shout out to the TikTok family. Again, this thing don't work without us, right? We have to say that. We got to be bold in saying that, right? It doesn't work without us. The one that we had put up that got so much notoriety was this man that was supposedly defending his wife from 5 people attacking him, right? Which, when you look online a little bit later, some other things came out that part was a hoax, right? The way we had posted it online was, supposedly a man had done that, and what would y'all think? Thankfully I had done it that way because, again, as time goes on, sometimes things come out that we don't know. This is why we say, family, we do not know it all, and we're good. Me, you, everybody included. See, the beauty of this thing here on the podcast, I'm not going to come off like I know it all. I personally can't stand folks that are like that because, again, it shows an imbalance. We don't know it all. We can be confident on the things that we know, right? As a Christian, shout out the Christian community one time, right? I want to say it that way. I know it may bother some. And y'all are going to hear a lot of this like this, right? Because this is how your boy talk. Okay. So we gonna say community on some things. People get mad at it. That's your business. It is a community. Okay. Just by definition of the word. When you watch this video with this man supposedly defending his family, it was weird because, he's teeing off on these women, man. I mean, and while you can disarm someone and all this kind of thing, which we've spoken on before, I don't feel like, we got to give the boxing combo straight to the face and to the body of a woman, man. As a grown ass man, you ain't got to do all that, right? Even if you are defending your wife, which we're not saying that men shouldn't, right? Especially in a scenario like that. But we say all that to say, again, people are giving views, family. I think, we could have put this in the tagline here. We put it that this, the title of this is dealing with what we owe each other. This is an old episode that we did on the podcast on Spotify, but we're just doing it live for TikTok, right? Because I think this is something that we miss, right? Unfortunately, we miss it, and as a result, like life is showing certain things here. Let me. Last time we had piggybacked talking about submission, right? And again, it's dealing in the idea of how you're treated. Certain conditions by which you're treated. So then, especially with this men with women thing, because again, unfortunately, Christians have preached this gospel. I don't want to call it gospel because it ain't good news. That's what gospel means. It's good news. And it ain't no good news in you subjecting your wife to your mistreatment, right? There's no good news in that. Just to say it bluntly. We do a good hokey pokey happy dance. We look like them penguins in happy feet. Just these feet is flapping all over the place with these excuses. But family, there's certain results that come out of this, and that's why you're seeing some of these relationships working on top of the law of averages, right? Certain of these marriages is working and relationships are working, and some are not because we either are or are not working these rules, right? Let's just read this, right? Because we give verse. Again, we do not go to the verses everyone goes to because everyone goes to them. The Bible is a big old book full of a lot. Yes, we know how badly the thing has been We know how the thing has been messed with. Okay. And again, like, share, subscribe this thing, family, right? This is big, right? And we want to get the word of truth out there. Again, we're gonna repost this both. Again, this is more or less a Spotify episode that we're just doing on TikTok. But let's get into it, right? So, Hosea 4. Again, we read from the version that is the scene of the crime, which in this case is the King James Version, right? This is where all this stuff has come from. Verse 6, my people are destroyed. Now see, I've been saying perish, right? But this is better said this way. Right? Let's just do this one in real time, right? What's the word destroy mean, family? Does anybody know before I even pull it up? Right? Does anybody know what the word destroy means? Again, we got comments here, so we can live and interact with the family here, right? Shout out to family, TikTok family, one time rocking with your boy on the podcast, right? To put an end to the existence of something, again, we have something, someone, right? This is as a verb by damaging or attacking it. Okay, take the word, put it back in the sentence you're reading. Right, this is this old school linguistics here. My people are. Put to an end to the existence of through damage or attack for or by or because of the lack of knowledge. But there's a pause. Right, a little ditto. By or because of the lack of knowledge. But there's a pause. Right, a little ditto. But there's a pause. Right, a little ditto there. Ditto, that means it's got something else to say. Okay, what else you got to say in conjunction with what you just said? Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten. You know, a long time ago, we did an episode on the podcast about putting things in remembrance. I think I did it around the time of Easter, because, of course, the real catchphrase is do this in remembrance of me, right? And I say catchphrase because this is what it's become. It's not real anymore. It's a catchphrase. Again, we understand, family, the group on here that believes or does not believe in the thing. We get that. Okay? This is more or less people destroyed because they lack knowledge, and they lack it in many instances because they reject knowledge. I know a lot of people like to scapegoat and they put it back on God, like we say, like the young folks say in the hood, like, this is on us. And we refuse to acknowledge the law of thy God. This is Hosea 4:6 now, right? We done heard it preached in church from a bunch of different preachers and ministers all over the place, right? We reject knowledge, y'all. It's time. It's time not to anymore. What do we owe each other, KJ? This is what you started this thing off with, right? So, what the heck, brother? What do we owe each other, brother? Huh? Okay, let's. Ah, man, let's go. Let's take a look. And I'm just typing in the background what you hear, so my apologies, family. All right. Been doing out there, that's we we're talking and stuff like that. But you know how is that again? You know, for those who aren't on here, they don't see it, so on and so forth. They're not gonna they'll miss out on this. But again, you know, this is just a shout out. You can leave it in, you know, in the comments. Again, there's a comment section that'll be on Spotify, man. You know, and we'll go from there. Romans 13. I like playing around with Romans 13 because again, a lot of people like to play around with Romans 13 when it comes to how people are treated. Right. But again, this gets in. Right. But again, this gets into the heart of the matter, because this is the issue that's missing, is the heart of the matter. Right. Let every soul, we're going to start off with 13. It's only 8 verses, ain't that long. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. Again, they're going to qualify what this is all about. For there is no power. Again, they're going to qualify what this is all about. For there is no power but of God. If the powers that you're subjected to got nothing to do with God, the rest of the verse says the powers that be are ordained of God. If the things got nothing to do with life, now the way we say it on the podcast family is life and godliness. Again, there's certain qualities that come with this kind of God aspect: love, peace, joy. Matter of fact, let's just take the spin off here. See, again, there's people like going to, right? And then there are others that we ignore purposefully, because we have to create a narrative by which to hurt each other. When we're talking about this whole subject of family, we got to put it under the tagline that I think I could have kind of did this, you know, are we doing things for people's benefit or for their detriment? Which one are we doing them for? Right. Especially when you talk about we'll say the do nothing, know nothing Negro on this podcast a lot, because that's what you got. You got a lot of people who don't know anything. Again, spreading destruction, as we've seen in Hosea. And you got a lot of people who do nothing, doing the same thing, all off the basis of either lack of knowledge or rejecting it. Right. So, in Galatians chapter 5, right, it gets down to what the fruit. Again, a tree is known by the fruit they bear. Family, again, when you're speaking on the different cultures of the people groups of the world, we have already said there's a reason why there's a certain distrust and mistrust for certain people groups, because they earned it. Hitler going in, killing the Jews, throwing blacks in ovens and doing all this kinds of stuff. Again, that group earned it. And Hitler's dead and gone. People still on that mess, right? The Ku Klux Klan, the Invisible Empire, all this. The Ku Klux Klan, the Invisible Empire, all this kind of mess, right? Again, whichever seen across this planet. Apologies for the noise in the background. It's somebody near my apartment complex, I guess, starting up there. Whatever, right? They earned it, family. The American Revolution, which is just the European Revolution on American soil, family. They earned it by lying to the black man and woman, saying that they would free them when they didn't. Christopher Columbus lied and earned it by that lie, by saying you're just coming over here trying to get trade routes for Europe. And at the end of the day, all that was behind the scenes was subjugating and destroying people groups. They earned it, family, right? They earned it, family, right? There's a certain fruit that comes along with this tree. Now listen, we do not, while there are people at the head of the class, we don't leave it there, right? We don't leave it there. All have sinned, y'all, means all have sinned. And it is highly upsetting for your boy to hear certain mess, as well as to see this kind of elitist thing, especially from black folks. And again, I encourage us to leave comments respectfully, right? Let's show that we can do this better than this. we cannot come off and say that, oh, hey, we're the loving, peaceful kind when we mean mugging our interracial brothers and sisters, right? When we're looking for ways to mess around with the so-called white man's day and give them attitude and all that crap, family, is not, you are operate when you going around in your neighborhood. We had just posted this on the Facebook, either on my Facebook page or on the podcast Facebook page, right? On the news at the end of August, 42-year-old man shot while doing a live in Chicago, family. His own people, and then sped off in the car. Cowards. You won't kill people and be man enough to stand there and say, I did it. And yeah, they deserved it. Just like Massa do. Massa ain't running away. Now, when the black codes and the slave codes come out and we start. Now, when the black codes and the slave codes come out and we start learning those things, like keeping us from being in groups, talking about so-called black men. And again, they took the show on the road. So the same thing happened to our Latino groups, talking about so-called black men. And again, they took the show on the road. Same kind of mess has been there. Can't come together. Can't do this. Couldn't drink. That was another one just shocked me. I found that one out yesterday. Couldn't drink. Like alcohol. Because they knew that the slave drunk off that good, that good cognac, right? We're going to go after Massa. We can't have that going on, right? Because you got to stay subjugated. And all of a sudden now you got liquor stores all over because you got to stay subjugated. And all of a sudden now you got liquor stores all over the place and guns. You couldn't have guns. Now you got them. Interesting. And you're killing each other now with them. This is not to encourage we should be hurting, killing anybody or unaliving, right? This is another one of these words that we have done now because we can't say the truth of a thing anymore. We have to kind of ease our way into it. The fruit. This is Galatians 5:20. The fruit. This is Galatians 5:22. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentle, patience, y'all. Another one of these things that tires me, man. What are people saying? You ain't got no patience. You got patience. You wait all day. Hey. You wait all day long, go to sleep ready and waiting to get up the next day to go back to work for Massa. No, KJ, that ain't the case. Come on now, brother. No. That's exactly what it is. We're okay being okay with the mess they give us, right? And welcome in, family. Long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith. We get on our BDSM family, and maybe we shouldn't, right? Because if it ain't for you, it ain't for you. We get on our BDSM family, and maybe we shouldn't, right? Because if it ain't for you, it ain't for you. But when we're talking about the S and dominance, submission, right? Because the S is something different. But dominance and submission, right? Meekness, when you look at the definition, deals with the kind of idea of putting yourself in a place. You can look at the etymology of the word. We're not going to do it for time's sake. We ain't trying to take up people's time. We just gonna drop some knowledge and go from there. Meekness, y'all. The meek shall inherit the earth. Why? Because at the end of the day, you put yourself in a place to understand the places by which you can inherit things on this earth. Temperance. Let's just do this real quick in real time. All right, this is coming back. See, long suffering, right? Literally, as the word is, as they said it back then. You got to have a little bit. There's got to be a little bit of an endurance with you. Everybody is going to test something with you. We get it. Moderation, restraint, self-control. As a noun, the quality of moderation or restraint. Where, family, we can be balanced if we want to be. Seems like we don't want to be. Right? Seems like we kind of want to be. But that don't work. These are the things that when you're rereading in some of these other verses, that you can see when it's talking about something of God, what it really is. These are the things. Against such there is no law. That's interesting, right? People are making up laws, family, to be able to hurt you. I hope you understand that. So, when people are getting up in arms about whatever President Trump is talking about, whatever all this other kind of stuff is, family, it's done on purpose, right? This is why when people hide behind church and stuff like that, again, they left the church house back in the day to watch black folks swing from ropes. This is another one of these things, right? Who watch death. You went in, shouted hallelujah, did the whole nine to go watch your brother swing from a rope. That doesn't even make sense. To show you the deception in the mind. To show you what they had given themselves over to. A lot of people will go and they'll talk about this kind of idea in the Bible, what God gives people over to a certain thing. No, your own actions open the door for certain things to occur in life. Because again, this is what's down here on the planet. There's already stuff here on the planet, laws at work already. Look how the verse says it here. Against such there is no. When we're talking about the economy, when we're talking about education, when we're talking about, let me pull it up real quick. Again, as dear brother Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. broke it down for people. Right. And again, normally if the white man says that it's right when everybody else says it is it's open to, this couldn't happen. Economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, or belief. Because again, religion is dealing in this kind of idea of wrapped around what you believe. It's almost like it's got an organization thing around it. I don't want to be part of any organization that has nothing to do with now watch it now. Watch it. That has nothing to do with love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness. People can't be patient. Peace, long suffering, gentleness. People can't be patient with each other no more. That's what leads to all this road rage on the road. You in a big ass, however many ton car, and we're okay with the strap in the car, whatever we got going on, just doing the most gross things, right? Running each other off the road, all this kind of stuff. It happens in stores. We shopping in these retail stores. It's like people take up the whole aisle, family. You sharing the aisle with everybody else in it. Get what you got to get, keep it moving, right? And it's like we just sit there staring at the fish sticks too long. Then somebody who needs them, now you getting mad because you're just sitting there staring. Like, again, get what you need, keep it moving. We're sharing. Nobody's saying you can't take time to look at the thing, but we know what we're doing at this point, right? It's almost like people need to be more into MMA and all this kind of stuff to kind of you got to get that fighting energy, that anger somewhere. You got to channel it somewhere. It's like what they talk about with habits and stuff. When you end one, you replace it with something else that's healthy, right? Gentleness. Can't talk to the brothers about gentleness because as soon as you talk about that with grown men, they think that's simping or something. You a beta and all this kind of weirds. Again, how did you compare a grown human to a fish? What are you? Man, fellas, we got some answering to do. Adam was out of balance and he was escaping and giving excuse before the maker to his wrongs before the woman in his life by telling God, it was the woman you gave me. And then we wonder why we have issues. You can't ask for that. Again, we had started off the podcast here, this episode, talking about submission. If this thing has something to do with control on some level, come on now. You gonna ask her for what? And to what? To your mistreatment? I'm supposed to listen to you mistreating me. See, this is why these dynamics, it doesn't matter heterosexual or homosexual. This stuff is all the same no matter who it is. Two men, two women, man and woman. It don't matter. We're fooling ourselves, y'all. Gentleness, just saying, we're all susceptible to it. Gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. I don't want to be in no building with another bunch of people, whether it's the courthouse or the church house, and these things are not at work. I'm good. I'm good, because all you're going to get after that is division, destruction, and death. That's it. Shout out to this brother that lost his life here on this Facebook Live, man, and his family, and the heartbreak. You know, anybody going, same thing up in Minnesota, man. And we ain't gonna lay this at the feet of transgender people. You can cut that noise right then and there. It ain't got nothing to do with it. It's got something to do with, if you live by the sword, you're gonna die by the sword. Exactly what it tells you in the scriptures. Live by the sword, you're gonna die by the sword. Exactly what it tells you in the scriptures. Right? We say script, as a matter of fact, because that's the base word of scripture, which is a script. Like in a play, you have been told what's going to happen, y'all. Okay, we can keep going to the don't lie and over. That's where the problem is. The rest of this we keep skipping over. That's where the problem is. The rest of this we keep skipping, that we keep skipping over, excuse me, is where the problem is. We say all this, family, to come back to this idea of what's ordained of God in Romans, right? That's what all of that we were saying. It gets down to this idea here. I was going to read all 8 verses, but again, for time's sake, we ain't doing all that, right? You can in your own time. Oh no, man. Again, but before you, and as I continue to study and learn Buddhism and Hinduism, the different offshoots of belief with our Asian brothers and sisters, the different offshoots of the Abrahamic household of faith. Again, family, you know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said a certain thing. When I say that, family, do not take it for me being Muslim. We're giving respect where it's due. Right? Some odd reason people think they're going to hell is I don't know. I don't know where we're getting. No, I don't know where we're getting these things from. Many times I feel it's like we become over religious, if you could say it that way. And we put a spook on everything. That's not, I know we're up on spooky season, especially, right? For those in the family who like Halloween, shout out, right? To the family who love that Halloween, right? Michael Myers and the gang. Okay. But at the end of the day, and we're going to get into that topic going forward here, some things from a spiritual basis that we how to discredit. Just like he's taught Negroes how to kill each other in the hood. While Donald Trump talking all this mess about Chicago, family, that's not the only place where a whole lot of this death is going on. It's one of them, though. It's definitely one of them. And if I may be so bold as we're going to continue down here on what this really is for real, in life, we're talking about another one of these laws where there is no other law. At the end of the day, family, hey, if you continue to go down a certain road, you will see nothing but division, destruction, and death. In economy, in health, it doesn't matter. This is the way it's been set down. I know people have a problem with it. This is what it is. We should get better at figuring out what it is. We should get better at figuring out what it is than the opposite. Because we're wasting time doing that. Right? Oh, no, man. We know the planet is just not full of men. Unfortunately, I know men like to look at it that way. That is until right about the time they need to go staring at some booty and some boobies. Then all of a sudden the world ain't full of just men, but I digress, right? So, oh, no person, man or woman, anything, but to love one another. What do I owe you, family? What do you owe me? Maybe we should look up the word owe. me watching, and we're gonna talk about it as we go along, just trying to get more episodes under my belt. Eyes of Wakanda. Y'all seen Eyes of Wakanda yet? Right? If you haven't, please go watch that. Yeah, man. Disney is there's a lot of woke stuff again. When our black brothers and sisters said stay woke with the DAP and the one fist in the air, they telling you to stay woke, family. That's it. You can get in your fist in the air. They telling you to stay woke, family. That's it. You can get in your feelings about as much as you want to. This is what they meant, y'all. Okay. Have an obligation. This is what they meant, y'all. Okay. Have an obligation to pay or repay. Something, especially money. Now, of course, we know that, Massa put the bag in front of your eyes. There's more things than just money, right? In return for something received, I gotta look at it again, but there's a story that's out there that's called The White Man's Ice is Colder. If y'all don't know about that, again, and I'm gonna repost this. If y'all have heard about that, you can leave it in the comments. All right, this is about growing, family. We ain't on this like attacking each other thing. That thing is, again, we're about the places where there's love and peace and joy. And if you got like strife and kind of just you got to having a fight and everything and stuff, too much is in a different thing here. But that's too much. An obligation. And of course, it says in return for something received. But again, an obligation, family. And what is received is that which is most precious, which is life, y'all. That's what was given. That's what was received. Give life because you were given life. God help us to understand something, man. Sheesh. Yo. And in return in these hoods, we given, yo. And in return in these hoods, we giving death. We give mean looks. We giving sideways stares. What are we doing, family? But then we want to come together. You got all of the Pan-Africanists, and then we want to come together. You got all of the Pan-Africanists and the this one. Now we all talking this solidarity, and we fight each other like dogs, family. What is? But again, see, while I'm talking about a people group, y'all, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's no wonder they don't give us proper living accommodations if you live in an apartment. It's no wonder that you can mess around with trade and you don't get good help when you get a contractor for your house, right? It's no wonder that you get weird, shoddy type of environment in the car dealerships or or a boat dealership. If you're around, a body of water and you want to go out there in a speedboat or some, just some luxury thing somewhere. It's no wonder that they nickel and dime you for things. See, because we nickel and dime each other in our own lives. So that energy just keeps coming back, y'all. Right? We can, again, in the Bible, it's called sowing and reaping. Hey, right? Hey, right? Oh, man. Touch your neighbor one time. Say, neighbor, I owe you, nothing but to love you, right? We like doing that. We like doing that on the podcast, right? The preacher, Sunday coming tomorrow, family, and everybody gonna be, hell yeah. We ain't, we ain't learning, family. We shouting, running, and hollering, but we ain't learning. All right, because again, that knowledge changes you. And you just stop doing the stuff that you used to do, y'all. Right? It look different. We have an obligation, family, to love each other. For he that loveth another has fulfilled the law. I don't need like some 6 foot rule when there's a virus going around, family, because I'm automatically going to stay away. You see what I'm saying? We're not going to be right up on you hacking and coughing. We're going to back up a little bit because we know viruses pass. We're not going to be right up on you while you hacking up a lung, right? But when you got to get to the next place and you in my way and your coughing is an inconvenience to me, then this is where we kind of get right up on you and kind of push you out of the way, give a little hip bump, little shoulder check, maybe the elbow brush across you. This is where this little shoulder check, maybe the elbow brush across you. This is where this stuff comes from. Verse 9, for this thou shalt not commit adultery. Verse 9, for this thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not kill. Since everybody likes going to the Old Testament, we'll read this here, and we'll just put a nice bow on it, and then we'll go about our day. For thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness. How many people keep lying on each other all day? We're lying on each other all day. That's how a lot of us got the jobs that we got up in. We got the positions we got lying on our brother and sister, didn't we, family? Wait. We saying that we different than somebody? We ain't no different, man. Right? Not in that regard. No. Thou shalt not covet. If there be, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Again, it's very easy to see why people cannot love their neighbor, because they do not love themselves. They don't. We don't take the time to meditate on the things where we've gone wrong in life. That's loving yourself. You take the time to ponder on how you went left, family. Right? Or how you went right. We're not thinking people. We've been bred to be reactive people, right? There's a difference. Bred to be reactive people, right? There's a difference. How do you get back to that? Put time in your day to think. That's how it happens. That ain't going down no rabbit hole. Again, think. That's how it happens. That ain't going down no rabbit hole. Again, the rabbit hole is that rabbit's home. And it may be deep, and you might have a couple of getaways, so there may be a couple little tracks you got to go on, okay? But we ain't got nothing but time. So why would we waste it just on Master's plantation all day? There could be another way we could look at things, right? Hence the podcast here, A Different View. And then on verse 10 is where we're going to end. Love worketh. Love is the fulfilling of the law. Family, that's how we answer all this gun violence. Nobody said you shouldn't own guns. Nobody said there wouldn't be people who would be the opposite of this, by which you should protect yourself. But the fact that you've got black folks taking the guns and the weapon of defense and turning it on their own people is proof of the disconnect in the mind, which is why you have to stay away from folks like that unless they have renewed their mind. And if they're able to give you side eye and all this other kind of weird stuff that they do to their own people during the day, you know how many times being in stores that I've seen stuff that they do to their own people during the day. You know how many times being in stores that I've seen black folks go up to each other, looking for each other to give them preferential treatment. You are no different than massa. Yeah, we can use the excuses of how they done held us down. So, this is how it's supposed to look like. Again, you don't bulldoze your way past other people in some attempt to get that which they hate and the poison by which they operated with you. All you're doing is exchanging energy for energy, getting the same result. That makes zero sense. Nobody is telling family. I wouldn't even be doing right by y'all to hop on here and say the stuff I'm saying if this was the idea, just letting folks walk on you. That don't make no sense. There ain't nobody telling nobody to let folks walk on you, but at the same time, us going around being bullies it's not a good look, y'all. There is a thing of wisdom and grace that has made the foundation from whether you talking Kemet all the way to wherever and back again. That is the defining point of our people. Not in trying to be the defining point of our people. Not in trying to be like those who undid us at the time. Right? And it's no shock that these are the kind of things they try to silence. Don't nobody want level-headed wisdom out here. We need you reacting like a bunch of animals out in the street. That's making them money, you know. By the way, just a side note, that's making them money, right? All these people, you look at it, just go Google the amount of homicides in each one of the cities this year so far. That casket cities this year so far. That casket money, ain't no black companies making them caskets. The embalming fluid. Hell, we still trying to get black doctors in the morgues and stuff like that. We come on now. Come on, somebody, right? This is the stuff we keep giving an excuse to. Ain't nobody got plots of land owning the cemeteries by which we are burying our family members, right? And friends. That's money going to them. They're profiting from it. And again, while there are certain people at the head of the class, they are not the only ones in the class. This goes to everybody. We got to think smarter. And in this case, when there's conflict to walk away from it, you walk away from it. It ain't no different in school. This is why people say this thing like old school, new school. Conflict to walk away from it, you walk away from it. It ain't no different in school. This is why people say this thing like old school, new school, old school and new school. It's just, are we missing the common name, title, phrase there? School. It's just school, y'all. Whether we're talking school in 2025 or school in 1975, it's still school. You want to tell me it look different for the different generations? Fine. Still school. There's still things that you learn. 1 and 1 is still 2, family. The ABCs by which we speak masses language is still the ABCs by 1 is still 2, family. The ABCs by which we speak masses language is still the ABCs by which we speak masses language. Come on. This is what it is. Family, that's what we're going to say. Thank you, family, right? Thank you for walking this road with me this evening, right? And as always, and until next time, look to love each other, right? Look to have each other's back in this life. Because we all we got. We all we got. I know individualism has become a thing. We are all we got. That's both individual and collective, right? So that's what I got for you today, family. Thank you for walking this road with me. And as always, and until next time, look to find the beauty in a different view.